Adam, we have some breaking news out of Buffalo.
Yeah, the Buffalo Bills have told Jordan Poyer, their all-pro safety, that they're moving on. Now, keep in mind that Buffalo came in today, Hannah, needing to clear about $40 million worth of salary cap space. And so they are essentially moving on from Jordan Poyer, and this is really the end of a chapter here in Buffalo because he and Micah Hyde had formed a long-running, successful safety tandem. Hyde is a free agent, may retire. Doesn't look like he'll be back in Buffalo. We know Jordan Poyer now will be moving on. They're restructuring the contract of Rasul Douglas as well. So there's some cap savings with more to come yet in Buffalo that they'll have to do to get under the salary cap. But obviously some big moves in Buffalo with them moving on from Jordan Poyer today. He now will become a free agent and add to the safety market here in free agency next week.
Yeah, it's a tough business, isn't it? I mean, team captain, 7-year veteran of the team.
I mean, that's what it is, though. It's a business, right? It's about finding ways to continue to improve your football team while keeping yourself under the salary cap so you can make the necessary moves to win. But Jordan Poyer is one of the more underrated football players in the entire NFL. He's an all-pro. He's a Pro Bowler, but he's not one of those names that's mentioned when we talk about that position. And I believe a team can get better on the back end, not only through his play, but through his leadership and experience if they can find a way to acquire him in free agency.
Yeah, and again, there are teams that are going to be looking for safeties. Obviously, Buffalo is one of them. They'll be looking for a different safety, though. But the big thing, more than anything else, is you would like to believe that, Brandon Beane has a plan. They're going to move forward, and they're going to probably go with a younger guy. They've got a good defense. They've got a solid offense. They've just got to put it all together and give themselves a chance to get past Kansas City.
Yeah, keep that defense healthy.
Hannah, the Buffalo Bills have made another big move here. They are releasing two-time Pro Bowl cornerback Tre'Davious White, designating him a post-June 1 salary cap casualty. And so that will allow them to spread out some of the absorption of the salary cap penalties that they'll have to take. But it will free up money for the Buffalo Bills against the salary cap. Keep in mind that the Bills came into today about $40 million over the salary cap. And now there have been a slew of moves that this team has made within the last hour, the latest being moving on from Tre'Davious White. Tre'Davious White won't be back. They have informed Jordan Poyer that he won't be back. They're releasing their center, Mitch Morse. They're processing the release of their running back, Naheem Hines. Deontay Hardy, the return specialist, they're releasing him. So the Buffalo Bills are trying to be cap compliant today with a slew of moves, some big names, but this is a defense now that's going to have some holes in the secondary that this team is going to have to figure out a way to address. And I know a lot of people have also wondered about the future of Stephon Diggs in Buffalo. Still continue to hear that he's not going anywhere, that he's going to be back in Buffalo for whatever that's worth.
Wow, more cold business decisions happening today. So Poyer and White, I can't imagine what some Bills fans are thinking right now. But Brandon Beane, you worked with him for years in Carolina. What do you imagine is going on there?
Well, knowing Brandon, he probably has a plan. And the plan is probably designed around having to bring some new talent in. Whether it's through the draft or he's got a couple of free agents he likes, or the answer might even be on his roster. But Brandon wouldn't do anything without having a plan. So I think he's prepared to move forward.
But, I mean, you're talking about plugging huge holes in the secondary. Where do they go from here?
We spoke about Micah Hyde earlier. Obviously, Jordan Poyer being released. And Tre'Davious White, 3 years ago, you could have argued he was one of the top 5 corners in this entire league. He was an all-pro, a Pro Bowler, gets the big deal. But you have the ACL injury. You play without him this year with the Achilles. And so the Buffalo Bills are starting to say, okay, let's get younger on the back end. And I think something else that we don't talk about is the fact that Leslie Frazier is gone from this team. He missed the entire last season. They said it was a sabbatical or he stepped away. I don't think that really happens. But, you look at Sean McDermott having to call the plays. And so this team is totally different. And I think this does put more pressure on Josh Allen, not Josh Allen, the player, because we know exactly who that is. But when you start to lose these sorts of veterans, he has to step up in a leadership role as well.
I mean, you mentioned McDermott calling the plays on defense. Obviously, they make a change to offensive coordinator, which really
worked well.
Was a fantastic decision, one of the best in-season decisions that we've seen in recent memory. But where do these holes on the defensive side leave this team, Do you agree that it puts more pressure on Josh Allen in the offense?
As far as leadership, yes. As far as playing complementary football, yes. Because, again, now you're going to ask them to control the clock a little bit more as well. But, again, as I said, I really do believe Brandon has a plan. He's not sharing with us right now, but we'll see. And I really do believe that'll happen. I also like, though, the fact that their pass rush really seemed to come alive at last year. So, again, if that pass rush continues, it will most certainly help that secondary, and it will help shut down some holes.
Here's the thing, though. They just can't get past Kansas City. All right. In the meantime.
I mean, because nobody can.
I know. That's what I'm saying. It's like the Jordan era. And, we will see what happens there in Buffalo. In the meantime, with a guy like White out there, listen, there's somebody who could definitely use him.
Absolutely.
Who do you think should be thinking about it?
Well, I think the thing is, and I spoke to Tre'Davious during the year, and he said he was having a difficult time. It's, does Tre'Davious still want to play? And I think once he tells teams,
time in the sense
just a difficult time. He was coming off of an ACL injury, right? You come off the ACL injury, you're starting to feel good, and now you tear the Achilles. I mean, when you think about football players, and you've done it your entire life, and now you deal with back-to-back injuries like that, and Coach knows this better than anybody, it's not just the injury, it's the rehabilitation, right? It's what it takes to get back to your former self, and sometimes you never do. And I think that wore on him a little bit emotionally and mentally, and now you add to that being released. And so if Tre'Davious decides that he still wants to play, he's a viable choice for a ton of teams who, one, want veteran leadership on the back end, but we understand that this is an 11 personnel game, right? One tight end, one back, 3 wide receivers. You have to have 3 corners, a slot corner and 2 on the outside that can absolutely play, and a ton of teams can use a guy like Tre'Davious White.
Anything come to mind, Coach?
Well, I think, again, when you look at what they want to do defensively and how aggressive they've been in the past, I think that trend's going to continue. I really do, because, again, if you can attack the quarterback, put the pressure on the quarterback, it helps the secondary. So, again, as I said, I really do think they have a plan moving forward. They wouldn't do what they did without having really thought through it.
And you think, Hannah, you asked the question, teams that could use them. Think about Detroit and where Detroit was at the cornerback position late in that game. You also look at a team with young corners like the Houston Texans. You have a Derek Stingley. Nelson will be available. You add a Tre'Davious White to that. And so there are some playoff caliber teams that could use a good veteran corner.
And now Houston is a destination where people actually want to go. How about that, H-Town? Always been a great town, but now a good football town.